All right, welcome everyone. Okay, this particular lesson is on the standard form of a quadratic function, so let's begin. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with just reviewing our vocabulary. As you know, our goal is vocabulary acquisition, so this is very important. All right, everyone. Okay, so there's our vocabulary. So the first thing they ask you to do is circle functions that are in standard form. You need to keep in mind that standard form on a quadratic is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. On a linear equation, it's ax squared plus bx plus, I'm sorry, equals c. Let me erase that. Okay, so this one would be in quadratic form, and that would be it. This is slope-intercept form, this is slope-intercept form. And this is not squared, so it's not even combined. Okay, and now here they ask you to put them in standard form. Write each equation in standard form. So this one is fine. X plus 2y equals 17. This one is 2x plus 0y equals 5. And then this one you want to move the 5 to the other side. So it would be negative x minus y equals negative 3. So basically x plus y equals positive 3. Okay, now keeping my, let's keep going. So here we're looking at our vocabulary. So quadratic, there it is, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A, of course, cannot be 0 because then it's not squared. Okay, a quadratic function is a function that can be written in this form, where a is not 0. The graph is a parabola. We talked about this previously. Um, so your quadratic functions, you notice each of these has a squared term. That's what you're looking for. Examples of ones that are not, this is not, when you have a variable in the denominator of a fraction, it's not quadratic, okay? So then let's go. And so you want to circle the ones that are quadratic. So this one and this one. This is absolute value, so it's not, and this is linear, so it's not. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Okay, now what you want to do is find the features. We've actually talked about this already when we did the previous lesson. And so your vertex is going to be the topmost point. Your axis of symmetry is the line that goes through the vertex. And then whether it has a maximum or a minimum. If it opens up, it has a minimum. If it opens down, it has a maximum. And then what the range is. And if you remember our notes, we've talked about all that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to see, you want to take this graph and see which one of these it is. Well, we can automatically eliminate this one because it opens up. This negative 3 in front of the squared term tells me it has to open down. The other thing that I need to look at is I need to know what my vertex is. Okay, so let's see. I think probably the easiest thing I would do here is I would put this in on my graphing calculator and see which one matches. You could also use it as a t-table. That's another option. I'm just going to plug it in, and I'm actually going to use, let's pause for a second, and I think I'll pull up a calculator real quick. Okay, so what I did is I went to the graphing calculator, and there you go. I went ahead and I graphed it. So notice that the vertex is over here. So since I saw that, I know it's not this one, so this is the one that we're looking to work with there. All right, so I'm going to put on my pencil, so I want this one. Now, we want to draw and label the axis of symmetry. Let's not do that then. We want to use this one. Okay, so let's label and draw the axis of symmetry on the graph that you circled. Okay, so axis of symmetry is going to go through that point. How do I know? I'm going to go back to my graphing calculator, and I need to know what this topmost point is. So I'm going to do G5, and I'm going to do, this is opening down, so it's a maximum. And it looks like it's negative 2/3 and then 7 1/3. Okay, so x negative 2/3. Now, if I'm just looking at the picture, all I want to do is I want to make a solid line. So I'm going to and then we're just gonna undo that. I want to make it a little thinner so that you can actually see. Alrighty. Okay. And then I actually need this to be more of a dashed line than a solid line. So I'm going to, there you go. Okay. And so that's going to be x equals negative 2/3. Okay, there's my equation. Now, circle and label the maximum value on the graph. So that's going to be whatever y was, and it was 7 1/3. So we're going to circle that. And so the maximum is 7 1/3. And guys, I got this straight from the calculator. And then circle the range. Since it's opening down, I need all the values less than that. So my range is going to be all real numbers less than or equal to 7 1/3. And there you go. That's how you get that. Please feel free to replay this as much as you need to. Okay. I'm doing this at home, so excuse the movie in the background. Okay, so here are things you need to know about a quadratic. The graph of f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c8 is not 0 is a parabola. If it opens upward, if a is greater than 0 or positive, it opens up. If it's less than a 0, it opens down. Axis of symmetry is the line x equals negative b over 2a. Now, these letters a, b, and c are all coming from this equation, and we're going to see us use that later. The x-coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a. The y-coordinate is f of that. So basically what happens is once you get the x-coordinate, you plug it back in and get y. The y-intercept is 0, c, so whatever c is. And so if you're looking at this, the y-intercept of this equation would be 0, and it would be negative 4, because there's your c. Okay? All right. Okay, so here's the graph. So first thing I would do if I was going to do this, I would identify A, B, and C. So from this equation, A is negative 2, B is 2, and C is negative 5. Okay, so then it's negative 2 over 5 times negative 2. So you basically have, the 2's are going to cancel, so it's negative 1/2 is what that means. Okay, so we're going to plug that number back into the equation to find y. So you're going to have negative 2 times negative 1/2 squared plus 2 times negative 1/2 minus 5. This is where I would just pull out my calculator and just do the work. I would not be working super, super hard. So I'm trusting that you can do that. Um, so negative 2 times, and then I'm going to square that, plus 2 times parentheses negative 1 divided by 2. Okay, so I got negative 6.5. Okay. Double check with yours and make sure I got that right, because I just could have made a mathematical error. So that's going to be negative 1/2. And if you change that, that's negative 6 1/2. So negative 13 halves. Okay, and then our y-intercept is negative 5. The reflection across the y-axis of the axis, across the axis of symmetry. Hang on, okay. Oh, they're having us plot all the points that we did. Okay. So our y-intercept is negative 5. and -1/2 and -6.5. Whoops, that's not in the right spot. This looks like so because this is -1, so -1/2. This is 4, 6.5 would be like somewhere like that. And then this is 6, so this would be that. Okay, and if you reflect across the axis of symmetry, this would go here. This is what they mean for you to do. There you go. And so that's how you draw the curve. Okay. So all you do is do the vertex, you get the axis, get the y-intercept, and then once you have that, you know you have to have a mirror image because remember the axis of symmetry goes through there. Okay. 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 So we want to do the same thing here. So we're going to find, we're going to write this in the right form, and we're going to do everything that we need to do. So first thing we're going to do is write, identify basically A, B, and C. Okay. Because this is already in the form, and that's the form you write it in if you don't know it. -1, 4, and then -5. So this is going to be 4 over -1. So 4 over -2 reduces down to -2. Now we're going to take that, we're going to put it back into our equation to get y. So -2 squared plus 4 times -2 minus 5. Excuse me, just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to sit here and figure this one out. So I'm going to plug this into my calculator as well to get my y value. So -2 squared is 4, so -4. And then to that we're going to do -8 and then -5. Okay, and again, check it in on your calculator and make sure. So that's -17. Okay, so that's the vertex is -2, -17. So that you're going to plug into the equation. Let's see, where are we getting A? So I know this is my vertex, so this is going to be -2. Oh, I know what A is because I identified it already. So this is -1, this is -2, and this is -17. So the vertex form of the function. Oh, we went from standard form to vertex form. Sorry, that was not clicking with me. So -x plus 2 quantity squared minus 17. All right. And let's go down a little further. Okay, and again, you can pause this as much as you need to. So, okay, here we have an equation, basically a word problem. So the Zhao Zhao, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, bridge in China is the oldest known arch bridge dating to 605 AD. You can model the support arch with the function f of x, and then there's your equation, where x and y are measured in feet. So how high is the arch above its supports? Okay, basically it's negative, so it's opening down. So what you want is you want the maximum. So what I would do is I would put this in my calculator, and then once it's in the calculator, all you got to do is find the vertex. Okay. Okay. Honestly, that's what I would do. The whole thing with this is they're assuming that you're going to do it by hand. And, you know, I'm not doing that. I'm just writing this down so that I can plug it into the calculator, axis symmetry, the length of the bridge, all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to just pause this for just a minute. All right, now, like I said, you can literally just put this in your calculator and then get the answer, or you can work it out, it's up to you. So we're going to go ahead and work it out so you can fill it in. Um, so what point on the parabola gives the height? I would say it's the vertex, or in other words, you could use as the maximum. Okay, so we want negative b, so we have negative front, and b is 0.131148, and then we're going to multiply that times negative 0.001075, and then we're going to get an answer there. So that, again, that's where you just plug it in. Let me turn mine on. So we have 0.131148 divided by, sorry, the calculator didn't click for me, 0.131148 divided by, I'm going to do 2 times 0.001075. I already noticed that there's a negative out in front of it and then a negative in the bottom, so negative over negative is a positive. That's why you don't hear me mention those, okay? So axis of symmetry, we're going to say this is about 61. It's 60.9990, so we're just going to say 61. Okay, so I know the axis of symmetry is x equals 61. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 61, put it into this equation, and find out what y is, which is your length of the bridge. So we're going to do negative 0.1, I'm sorry, negative 0.001075 times 61 squared plus 0.1311 point, whoops, let's go back, 0.131148 times 61 again. What did I miss? Okay. Let's try that again. 0.001075 times 61 squared. And then to that I'm going to add plus 0.131148 times 61. How am I getting that? The bridge has to be longer than that. Okay. Okay, let me pause this just for a second. I just want to make sure that I'm doing this correctly. All right, I just went in and I checked on the answers because I was just trying to figure out what we were doing here. Okay, so if I know the height of the arch, that's the middle, so that's 61. So then the length of your bridge would be 122 because they just doubled it. And then what you do is you plug the 61 into your equation. When you do that, I got 3.99 something. Basically, it's 4. Okay, so 4.0. So then now that I know the vertex, the vertex is, where is it? 61, 4. And so the arch is how many feet above its support? I think it should be the 4. Let's look and see, because I just have it right here. Yep, there you go. Okay, so yep, just had to make sure I was doing that right. Alrighty, so let's go through and do the last page. Okay, so this one, you're looking at it trying to figure out what the deal is here. So it's error analysis. Student graph the function, find and correct the error. So they did 4. So here, let's look at it. You basically want to walk through and find what you need to know. So when you look at this, the student on it, they got 4 over 2 times 2, so it should be -1, so that's the x coordinate. That's okay. And then you plug it back into the equation. So 2 times -1 squared minus 4 times -1 minus 3. So that's 1, that's 2, plus 4 minus 3. So that's 6 minus 3 is 3. So they got that. And then when they graphed it, so their vertex is -1, 3, which makes sense, which means C is what they do wrong. 1 vertex. Okay. -1, 3, which is here, but C should be down here. So let's see. I'm going to, let's plug this in our calculator and see. And then you're basically what they're having you do is figure out what the problem is. And we can just as easily do that using our calculator. So y equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 3. So I just copied that down. We're just going to go here. And then we're going to wrap this up because we're almost done. Let's exit menu. We're going to go back to our graph. And we're going to do 2x squared minus 4x and minus 3. And then let's draw it. So it opens right there. And shows our vertex should be over here because this is where our y-intercept is, which is what I was coming up with. So let's look at the error again. -b. There's a negative missing right there. That's the mistake that the student made. Because remember the formula is -b over 2a. So negative, and then b was also negative over 2a. So then what you would get when you did that is if you found your minimum, because this opens up, you would get 1, -5 is the correct vertex. Okay, so I kind of just wanted you to see that. So they just have you work through it manually, but you could have just as easily plugged it in on the calculator to get that. And then you should be able to regraph it. Okay, so these are the words you need to understand is quadratic, standard form, vertex, axis of symmetry, and y-intercept. And then if you understand all those words, mark yourself where you got it. And we will see you on the next one.